People are very passionate about music. It's one thing that I've learned from doing this channel. Things can get heated, people can get in arguments. People have very strong opinions about bands. People are very much, you know, they either like something or they absolutely hate it. It's a very passionate thing. If you're a music fan, if you're a music lover, you have your favorite bands, you have certain things that you reacted to. It may be something that, as a kid, that potentially you heard something at a pivotal moment in your life. Imagine, hearing a song for the first time and reacting to it, and maybe hearing it while you're getting your first kiss, or hearing it, as you're driving home with your parents after winning a baseball game, or hearing "We Are the Champions." Imagine hearing that for the first time. You know, Music is something that incites a lot of passion from people, and I know I am no different from anybody else. I first thing I do if I hear a piece of music is I judge it, and I didn't used to be like that. I used to be a just a fan, and I had things that I liked, and bands that I liked better than other bands, and I certainly had very strong opinions at one point in time. But let me think about this for a little bit, because the reality is this. Music is something, and it means different things to different people. There are people that love the Rolling Stones, and then there are people out there that hate the Rolling Stones. There are people that like hair metal, and then those are people that I hear them in my comments. Oh, it's so good that those grunge bands came and blew those bands away. It's very strong opinions. My observation would be, if you're glad that hair metal was pushed, aside and killed off by grunge, then probably you grew up in a time period where grunge was the dominant music, and that spoke to you at that time. And man, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Look, we all have music that speaks to us individually. My taste, whether it's talking about food or music or guitars or any of that, I have a pretty wide array of different types of music that I like, and I get in different moods, and I want to hear different things. But I'd say that there are some things that I cannot stand. There are some things that I just do not like. There are some things that I don't like because they reflect bad times in my life. Hearing something that was a bad experience back in the day, and that song comes on the radio. There were times where I couldn't hear Ozzy Osbourne's "No More Tears." And if you join the members section of my page, you'll hear that story. It's on there, and the reason being for that it was a pivotal time in my life, and hearing that song was just it's like nails on the chalkboard. It was just a bad experience. So today, when I hear that song, as great as the production is, as great as Zach Wild is playing on the track, as great as Michael Wagner's production is on that song, and it is incredible. And I later came to know Michael Wagner and hang out with him, and he's a super cool guy. I still cannot stand to hear "No More Tears." It's just one of those things, man. And you know what? It comes the same thing with YouTube and the internet. People's opinions can be very strong. They can be very passionate about the state of today's music. They can be very passionate about real amps versus modelers. They can be very passionate about vintage guitars. They can be very passionate that vintage guitars aren't the be all end all. I mean, look, here's the thing, man, about vintage guitars. Not everybody can afford them. Not everybody that has a lot of money would consider spending that kind of money on an instrument like that. There are collectors, and there are people like Joe Bonamassa, who is seemingly picking up every vintage instrument. People bring them to his concert. They bring their family heirlooms to a Joe Bonamassa concert and sell them their great grandfather's guitar or their grandfather's guitar. And you know what? He's really carved out an incredible career in that he's able to go and play the blues, with a good band or great band, and go around the country, snapping up all the vintage guitars. Because no doubt, someday, whoever he leaves that collection to, somebody will be extremely well off by selling that guitar collection. And when that guitar collection goes up for sale, it's going to be an incredible, incredible day. And you know what? I'll give him credit. He plays the guitars he likes. He likes vintage guitars, so he plays them live. And I think that might be a huge part of the draw to going to see Joe Bonamassa. Is if you want to go hear a 58 Burst or 59 or whatever, or a vintage Strat or whatever, you go to a Joe Bonamassa concert and you're going to hear one. And you know what? That's pretty cool, man. I think that's pretty cool. I don't own any vintage guitars right now other than my great grandfather's old Gibson parlor guitar. And I've owned some what would be called vintage guitars in the past before they were vintage. But you know what? It's not really something that floats my boat. If I had $6,000 right now to spend on a guitar, I would probably buy something like a James Tyler, or maybe a Murphy Lab guitar, maybe a Les Paul Custom. But I would not be looking for something in that range in a vintage guitar, which at this point would probably be something like maybe an older SG, maybe a Les Paul Jr., maybe a student model, or a Fender Jaguar, or a Jazzmaster, or something like that. I just don't have any desire for an instrument like that. For me, an instrument is a tool, and I want my tool to be sharp out of the box so I can go cut things with it. And you know what? But I get it, man. If people are passionate about vintage guitars, then they're gonna proclaim that theirs is the best. And if somebody likes Van Halen, they're going to exclaim that Eddie Van Halen is the greatest of all time. I think he's one of the all-time greats, no doubt. I wouldn't have his poster on my wall if I didn't think so. But is he the greatest guitar player of all time? I'll let you guys argue in the comments. I don't think that there really is a greatest guitar player of all time. And you know what? Sometimes certain bands don't need a great guitar player. They need great songs to make them a great band. And you could argue Keith Richards is not a great guitar player. He certainly doesn't shred, but he certainly carved out his own niche and wrote many great songs, and he plays great parts and great riffs, in those songs. And man, passion. It's passion. It takes passion to make music. If you don't have passion, if you don't have drive, if you're not searching for that perfect note or that perfect riff or that perfect lyric, the music's not going to be worth a crap. We've all heard bands that have broken up and come back together. And sometimes like Van Halen, they've mined their old material, their old demos to have new songs for an album, because that was the days when the passion was there. That was the days when the drive was there. And you know what? I can feel that now in my older age, that the passion for me to write a whole album, unless I've got, hey, something really inspire me. Hey, we've got this great singer to write for, or we've got this great project, or whatever, embarking on something like that, writing 10, 12, great songs, putting them together on a record, that takes a lot of passion, that takes a lot of drive, just like putting together a band, and going in the garage and hammering out tunes and dealing with egos and dealing with club owners and all that. It takes a lot of passion. And that's why, when I went out to Los Angeles as a kid, that's why it happened then, because I had that drive, man. I had that go ahead, punch me, knock me down. I'm going to get right back up and I'm going to keep swinging. And, I had that attitude. I had that drive. I was very strong, of opinion. And, to some degree, I still have that opinion today. I can't help but if I hear another player, I'm going to judge what they do. But I've learned now that it's probably best I just keep my opinion to myself. A lot of times I wonder why people, if you don't like a certain video, if you don't like something I say, sometimes it's better to just, walk away. But I get it. You're passionate about music, and I completely understand that. But, I try, my goal for 2025 is to try to have more compassion and try to respond with negative comments with, hey, have a great day. You know what? It's life isn't that bad. You know what? If you like to say tomato and I like to say tomato, it's just two ways to pronounce the same word. And we all play different. We all like different things. We all like different instruments. We all have different skills and things that we bring to the table. And that is the beauty of music. You don't have to be the world's greatest guitar player to make a mark on the world. You don't have, and I'm learning that. I'm learning that now with this channel, because I do have the passion to work on this channel every day, because I've had many, many people say it's helping them. I'm making friendships on this channel. People are connecting. People are finding they're not alone. There are friends near them. There are musicians that they can connect with. And you know what? The comment section of this channel, if you're looking for players in your area, feel free to go down in the comments and say, hey, I live in, Wisconsin, and I'd love to hook up with a band. Or, hey, I just want to jam with some guys. I live in, I don't know, Lubbock, or whatever. Man, feel free to use this channel to meet people, to make connections, because, man, you know what? We only have the passion for so long. And now that I've discovered that I'm helping people through this channel, I'm going to continue to help people. I'm going to continue to bring this message of, look, you're never too old to continue on, to learn something new, to keep playing music, to share your experiences. This is the most important thing I'll probably ever do in my life, is getting up every day, having the passion and the drive to share my experiences and my knowledge as far as a career in music, and all the players that I worked with and all the crazy stuff that happened. This is my passion today to share with you. And I thank you so much for giving me this platform. And I'll see you on the next video.